Hi, my name is Charlie Poche, and I love soccer. But after every game, I wonder what I did and how I can improve. One way I can achieve this is to watch film of my games. And the current solution to recording a soccer game costs upwards of $3,000 a season. And because of this, despite me playing hundreds of games, I've only gotten to view film of my games maybe 10 total times. And this made me want to create a solution that was cheap and accessible for all to be able to watch film of their games. The first steps of this, I needed to create two different things, the software and the hardware. Starting off with the hardware, I decided to use four different cameras to be able to record the whole soccer field. The cameras are mounted on camera bases that allow me to adjust the angles of each camera separately, which, which allows me to add more or less overlap between different cameras, which becomes important when I create a panorama. The camera bases are mounted in a PVC pipe, which is a very strong base, and everything's bound to fall and break, and a PVC pipe, when it falls, won't break. Moving on to the next component, I needed to have a way to power the system, and I decided to use a Ryobi battery. Every, every soccer team is bound to have a teammate who has a Ryobi battery in their garage. So by using a Ryobi battery, it cuts the cost of having a way to power the system. Starting off with the software, I get an input video that contains four different cameras. And with these four different inputs, I'm able to do two things. The first thing is that I create a panorama, which uses the overlap that from the cameras to create a really wide picture. The second thing is that I use machine learning to detect where I'm at. And you can see in this image, machine learning correctly identified me and labeled me Chuck. By after after I use machine learning on each of the four input videos, I need to identify where each input video is in the panorama. For the panorama, I use OpenCV to stitch them, but the plan to identify where each of the input videos are didn't work, so I had to create my own. And what I did was I created a duplicate set of the panorama and input video, and I created three different lines on each input index. And by doing this on each one and giving them different colors, I'm able to correctly identify where all of the red lines are. And by giving each line a different color, I can easily identify the difference between the left edge of red and the right edge of red. And then by having a program to go through left to right in the panorama with the lines, if I find the middle line for yellow, I can easily know where the right side is on the yellow panorama, which is width divided by 2. And the same can be done with all of them. After I figured out where I am in the panorama, next step is that I can do cropped calculations. It's important to have a cropped video because when I'm viewing a panorama in a video player, it's very skinny and long, which is very hard for me to see. And if I showed that video to my grandpa, he wouldn't know what was happening. So I need to make everything bigger, and I did that by making a cropped video. So in this picture, you can see the green line, which is where the machine learning detected me, the yellow line, which is the center of the cropped video, and the black line's the cropped video. And if you can see, the teal line is where the cropped video is gonna move next frame to catch up to me. And by doing this every single frame, I'm able to create a cropped video that follows me around. So moving on, this is the video processing I do to take these four videos and turn it into the final output. You can notice the videos flickering in the beginning. That's because the cameras are calibrating. How I counteract that is that I skip the first 30 frames. You can also notice how the cameras are upside down. The reason why the cameras are upside down is because the camera wires are very fragile, and I wanted to put the least amount of stress on them, so I put the wires facing upwards. You can also see how I'm in at least 2 frames at the same time. This is important when I have to stitch into the panorama. On the top, you can see machine learning identifying me, and in the bottom you can see the calculations I do using the same colored lines as previously talked about. You can see the cropped video following me around, and when I go too far left and I'm at the left edge of the panorama, the cropped video doesn't follow me or it will fall off. And you can also notice the green line jumping around a lot, but the cropped video is relatively smooth. This is because I set a max amount of distance the cropped video can move each frame. This is the final output of the cropped video. It looks like a parent is holding a phone with extremely steady hands following me around. This is a really good first step towards my goal of analyzing a whole soccer game. And my next step is to create an algorithm to detect 22 different players and find where all the action is. So the final output is like you're watching a highlights video where there's only action on the cropped video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Amazing.